If you've ever wanted to write a children's book that teaches an important idea, whether it's colors, numbers, feelings, or something entirely unique, then this video is for you because it's all about concept books. We're going to look at what a concept book is, why they are so powerful, and the 5 most important do's and don'ts when it comes to writing our concept books. And if writing a concept book or any kind of children's story has been on your heart, stay with me until the end. I have something special to share that's going to give you the step-by-step creative writing support so many have been asking me for. So let's jump right in. Hi there, I'm Eevi, an award-winning children's author and ghostwriter over on eevijones.com and the creator of Children's Book University. I create videos specifically for children's authors, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. Every story is unique, and sometimes our book calls for a specific structure or format to serve the idea best. So this video is all about mastering concept books for children. But what exactly are concept books? A concept book focuses on one central idea and explores it in a way that is clear, engaging, and accessible for little readers. I like to divide concept books into 4 main categories. Category 1 is all about basic skills. This includes books that introduce concepts like the ABCs, counting, colors, shapes, opposites, days of the week, and months of the year. Here a great example is Chicka Chicka Boom Boom by Bill Martin, a rhyming alphabet book where all letters of the alphabet race each other up a coconut tree. Category 2 is all about science and nature. This includes books that introduce concepts such as seasons, weather, animal habitats, and life cycles. One of my favorite examples here is The Very Impatient Caterpillar by Ross Burrage, a STEM-based, really funny book about metamorphosis. Category 3 is all about social emotional learning. This includes books that introduce concepts like feelings, empathy, friendship, and patience. Here a great example is one of my own books, Sometimes It Rains, a story that lets little boys and girls know that it's okay to feel all sorts of different feelings and emotions. And category 4 is all about everyday experiences. This includes books that introduce concepts like bedtime routines, going to school, and visiting the doctor. Here one of my favorite examples is Llama Llama Mrs. Mama by Anna Dewdney, a sweet story about little llama's first day of preschool. Now looking at these examples, one of the things that stands out is that these concept books are all fiction books. And that's because sharing lessons in the form of stories works especially well for little ones where the concept is neatly wrapped inside a narrative. But there are plenty of non-fiction examples as well, whether that's for our little ones' first words, shapes, numbers, colors, and even more complex concepts like garbage that we can learn about in the book Where Does the Garbage Go?, one of my oldest son's absolute favorites when he was little. For older kids, my favorite example is actually a fiction and nonfiction duo, and that's Mary Pope Osborne's Magic Treehouse series. Here, her fiction stories introduce important historical events in the form of one of Jack and Annie's adventures, while her accompanying fact trackers present the same subject with facts and sometimes real images in an organized way. So really, when it comes to concept books for little ones, both fiction and nonfiction are important. Fiction allows us to weave emotion and character connection into our teaching, while nonfiction offers a more structured and straight-to-the-point kind of approach. But why do concept books matter? Why are they so important? Concept books are important because oftentimes they are a child's very first introduction to learning through books. They help educators and us parents teach concepts in a fun and engaging way. They build foundational skills that future reading, math, and social interactions depend on. They support early brain development by linking visuals with language. And they reassure and empower children with predictability and repetition. And for us authors, concept books have unique advantages as well. One, they are evergreen, meaning because new children are born every single day and the need to learn our ABCs, colors, and counting never disappears, these books will continue to sell. 2, they have what I call in my Story Writer Lab an automatically built-in audience. A book with a built-in audience is one that's created for a group of readers who already exist and who already gather around a shared interest, need, or experience, and are actively looking for stories or resources just like ours. So instead of trying to convince people they should care about our topic, we are stepping into a space where they already care and offering them exactly what they are hoping to find. And 3, concept books lend themselves to begin writing an entire series because once readers love a style, they will want more on different concepts in that style. These right here are all books I bought and read to my 2 boys that are perfect examples of these books turning into an entire series. The Circumference series by Cindy Neuswander teaches math concepts in such beautifully creative and memorable ways. The Once Upon a Dragon series by Jean Pensable are stories that deliver important messages on stranger safety, water safety, and fire safety in fun and non-threatening ways. And the Let's Read and Find Out series does such an amazing job breaking down complex concepts into fun and bite-sized ways that are perfect for little readers. So turning one concept book into a series is very common. Now, when it comes to writing concept books, what are the 5 biggest do's and don'ts and how can we avoid them? Number 1 is a big don't. When it comes to writing fiction concept books, we want to make sure we are doing the teaching without the preaching. What does this mean? The most memorable concept books don't just present the concept. Instead, they seamlessly embed it in an emotional or playful experience. The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle is a beautiful example here, teaching days of the week and counting, all inside a story so engaging that it sells over 1 million copies a year, decades after its release. Number 2 is a big do. We do want to make the reading an interactive experience, ideally for both our little readers and those who are reading the book to them. If we are using a print-on-demand service like KDP or Ingram Spark, we won't be able to use techniques we often see in traditionally published books, like lift a flap, touch and feel, or die-cut pages. But there are still many other things we can do to create an interactive experience for our readers. For example, instead of just counting objects on the page, we can invite our readers to count things they can replicate at home. Counting Kisses by Karen Katz is such a beautiful and fun example here, where we count and kiss along with the story. We can have our little readers find, point, and count hidden objects, or only count those objects that are a certain color, like we see in the book Count the Dinosaurs. And we can engage our readers with the way we use and showcase our text. For example, we can use text size to imply the volume with which something is being said, and therefore with what volume it is meant to be read. One of my favorite examples for this is the book Mr. Brown Can Moo, Can You? By Dr. Seuss. On the whisper page, we see the words printed extra small to imply the whispering, while on the horn page, we see the words printed extra big to imply high noise level. Not only are our little readers learning about opposites like quiet and loud or big and small, but we do so in a fun and engaging way. Number 3 is another big don't. Here we will want to make sure our writing isn't too abstract for the age group we are writing for. Instead, we will want to keep concepts concrete for younger readers and save abstraction for older ages. A wonderful example is the book Mouse Paints by Ellen Stoll Walsh that explores color theory in a very fun and creative way where the story makes the learning feel like discovery. Number 4 is another big don't. When it comes to writing concept books, we want to make sure not to overcomplicate things. Our little readers should be able to immediately identify the main point of our story. Here, it's always best to keep it to just one main concept per story. If our story is meant to teach numbers, we don't also want to dip into teaching the alphabet. Or if our book is meant to teach the months of the year, we wouldn't also want to teach colors. That's where expanding our book into a series would come in. So instead of squeezing multiple concepts into one book, we can create a number of books, each dedicated to just one single concept. And number 5 is another do. We do want to anchor the concept we are writing about in a child's everyday world. One of the most powerful things we can do when writing a concept book is to connect the learning to a child's daily experiences. When little ones recognize something from their own lives in a story, be it a familiar object, routine, or emotion, they engage more deeply. The learning becomes personal and therefore more memorable. We don't want the concept to feel distant or abstract. We want it to feel real, relatable, and right in front of them. So instead of teaching numbers through random disconnected images, we can try teaching numbers through something a child sees every day. Counting Kisses by Karen Katz is again a really wonderful example here. So when we're brainstorming how to teach our chosen concept, we will want to ask ourselves, how does this show up in a little one's daily life? where would they naturally encounter this idea? And then use that as our anchor. Whether it's through food, bedtime, pets, weather, or emotion. If it's something they see, hear, feel, or do every day, it's something they will connect with. Writing a concept book is a special kind of challenge. It's part artistry, part teaching. And the most beautiful part is that they are often the first books little ones will ever hear, touch, and love. We are not just shaping early learning, we are shaping a child's earliest experience with books. So take your concept, focus it clearly, build it with intention, and infuse it with joy. And if you'd love help turning your idea into a fully formed children's story, whether it's a concept book or something entirely different, I'd love to share my Story Writer Lab with you. My brand new writing course that guides you through every step of the writing process specifically for children's books. I've been asked so many times for a course that focuses specifically on the writing part. So I created this program to walk you through the exact steps I use myself when writing and shaping powerful stories for little readers. So I made sure to share the link in the description below. I hope you found this video really inspiring when it comes to infusing your very own story with a concept. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet. It really encourages me to keep making free videos for you just like this one. Here's to helping little readers discover their world one concept at a time. Bye!